Humans have asked us to play by their rules. Well, the rules have just changed.
Take that human to the trash.
Well, we look, they're not here. Let's go. Save the human instead of saving yourself. You bring shame upon us all. Welcome back to the Knights Temenos Prime.
You have disgraced it.
Michael came in with this iconic view, which I just loved, where it was locked down and there's this gigantic night ship following behind, and there's swirling clouds, and it's dark over here, and it's so thick that the sun doesn't quite cut through it. Amazing lighting, and it was just from this piece of still art. And Michael said, "Do you like that?" I said, "I love that. Let's go with this idea." So I pitched to him. I said, "Well, we do that, but what if whenever it's flying or moving around, it's so large it has its own weather system?" He said, "Yeah, good. Let's do that."
We took that as, well, if there's going to be a lot of atmosphere and, around the night ship, that should probably fan out into the entire environment. So there's a lot of particulate in the air. There's, everything's a little more over the top than you would probably expect. These guys are basically fighting it out on this just highway in the middle of nowhere on this farmland, and we just kicked up everything we could think of.
The trouble with loyalty to a cause is that the cause will always betray you.
The night ship in the original plan was supposed to be probably a couple of thousand feet long. and nearly 1,000 feet wide. So it's huge. Well, once again, we're faced with one simple thing. How do you tell scale from something like that? And one way to do that is to have small pieces that look like they could, be something that we can relate to as humans that assemble this thing. So whenever you get in close, you can see all these hundreds and hundreds of pieces on the outside where it was assembled. And some of the inspiration that we got for this ship, especially for what we call the prawns or the big arms that stick up in the air, were from sailboat rigging. And so we tried to put lots and lots of ribbing in there, far more than a real sailboat would have, and all the complexity of all the pipes and all the different supports in there, and even if you look closely, there's cabling and so forth, mimicking a little bit what a sailing ship would have. That's the outside. And the outside was plenty complicated, but now we go in the inside. One idea was to always have curves here and there, have conduits and piping, so it wasn't just big right angles locked together like you'd see in a skyscraper. That was not the idea. It's supposed to be very organic, like maybe some creature style of a thing. But now, how do you build the inside to make it make sense? My caution to Michael all along was, well, don't put too many pieces in, because on a computer graphics side of things, the more pieces or geometries that you have, polygons and all these things have to be created. The computer has to track all these things. It has to know where they are at a given moment. They all have to look good. Well, the more you have, you can actually stop the system.
Singapore did some of the first shots that take place when the Autobots first arrive on the night ship. And Michael really wanted this ship to feel different, so it ended up being much more, having like large openings in the sides of the ship that sunlight could stream in, with lots of atmospheric effects, light shafts, and a very, very different look from the way the interiors looked in previous movies.
Lockdown ship has booby traps. Eyes open. Beware of his bone grinders, brain blinders, flesh peelers, chromosomal inverters, catatonic sludge, black hole trapdoors, and of course radiation.